At 75, Chris Norman finally speaks up about Suzi Quatro, and what he shares is a sincere, reflective account rooted in respect, shared history, and an understanding that only comes with time, because Norman explains that Suzi Quatro was never just another performer in the crowded world of 1970s rock, but a force who challenged expectations at a moment when the industry was deeply uncomfortable with women who refused to stay in prescribed lanes, and as someone who rose to fame with Smokey during the same era. Norman says he watched Quatro navigate fame with a combination of toughness and vulnerability that few truly understood, noting that while the public often focused on her leather-clad image and rebellious confidence, behind the scenes she was disciplined, sharp, and fiercely protective of her artistic independence, and Norman admits that early on, there was a sense of distance between them, not because of rivalry or animosity, but because Quatro operated on her own terms. Unwilling to soften her edges to make others comfortable, something that was frequently misinterpreted as arrogance rather than self-respect, and he recalls how the industry tried to package her as a novelty instead of recognizing her as a serious musician, a bassist who sang, wrote, and performed with authority at a time when female rock artists were still treated as exceptions rather than equals, and with age, Norman says, he has come to appreciate how much courage that required, especially under constant scrutiny, and he reflects on how Quatro's influence quietly reshaped the landscape for future generations, opening doors for artists who would later be celebrated for traits she was once criticized for, and Norman also acknowledges that fame came at a cost for both of them: long tours, relentless schedules, and the pressure to remain relevant in an industry that moves on quickly, but he believes Quatro endured it with a resilience that deserves more recognition than it received. At the time, and now, looking back, Norman says the real truth about Suzi Quatro is that she was never chasing approval or trends, she was simply being herself in an environment that rarely rewarded authenticity, and he admits that history has been kinder to her than her contemporaries were, as her legacy continues to grow while misconceptions fade. And in finally speaking openly, Chris Norman isn't settling old scores or revealing hidden drama, but offering overdue acknowledgement to a woman who stood her ground, paid her price, and left an undeniable mark on rock history, a reminder that true pioneers are often understood only in retrospect, and that time, more than headlines, reveals who truly mattered, here on Hollywood Spotlight.